Hi, welcome along. My name's Amy. I'm going to be your trainer today. So we've got
Hi Amy, I'm Steve.
Steve and
Anita.
Anita, fantastic. Well, good to have you both here. So the training that we're doing today, or just to let you know that we're recording the training for training and assessment purposes.
No problem.
Great. So I understand that you guys are both at the moment completing a Certificate 3 in Customer Contact, but we're going to do a bit of extra training in language literacy and numeracy to kind of help bring you up to speed, particularly for the unit on developing product and service knowledge for customer contact operation. So today's session, we're just going to be focusing on one competency within that unit. So we're going to be looking at evaluating and reporting on customer service. And as part of the training, I've developed some materials that means that hopefully it will be easy for you guys to understand the principles, the four kind of key principles that we're going to go through in relation to evaluating and reporting on customer service. And then following training, we'll arrange an assessment which picks up on the skills that we've been looking at today. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Great. So what we're seeking to get out of this training is just understanding those principles, and then the assessment outcomes will be, or the assessment that we'll be arranging is a verbal Q&A based on these questions, and then also a bit of a
verbal what?
Question and answer. And then a written exercise, and for yourself, that'll be translated into Serbian, so you'll be able to write it in Serbian as well. Okay, so if that's all fine, any other questions that you had to start off with?
No.
Okay, great. So what we're going to talk about today is evaluating and reporting on customer service. Now, do you guys have any existing understanding of those kind of processes? I know yourself, you've been working in an HR sort of role for a while.
Yeah, just the basic understanding. You mean in terms of evaluating and reporting?
Yeah, on customer service and why we might do that.
Yeah, just to better understand our products and our services and improve them into the future.
Great. So to maintain high customer service standards, which is something you might have seen in your work already, we need to constantly monitor and check how we're going against the standards that we're trying to reach. So that includes evaluating the strategies and the ways of working, and trying to identify any possible changes that we could make into the future. Regularly checking on our customers' satisfaction can help us to understand what we should keep doing and what we might want to change. And so you can see in the learning materials that you've got here that this is like a continuous cycle of improvement. So you can see that you kind of develop a strategy, you put it into practice, you then collect some data on it, and then you review it and you can improve. Does that cycle make sense to you guys?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, great. And hopefully the visual representation of being able to think about moving around in a circle is that continuous cycle of improvement.
Never ends.
Exactly. So there's 4 principles that I wanted to talk about within that continuous cycle, which we want to keep in mind. So the first one is clarity. Do you have an understanding already of what clarity is? What are we talking about when we say clarity?
That it's not confusing.
Not confusing, yeah, really good. So when we're collecting information to use in reporting purposes, you want to make sure that you know the audience that you're collecting it for. What else could you do to make sure that information is clear?
Use simple language.
Yep, use simple language, really good. And you can also use the business resources that you have. So you can use your computers, use reports and summaries that already exist in your organisation. So do you have some reports that you're already using every week?
Yes.
Yeah.
A very basic reporting program that we have.
Great.
Just on our numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. So being really clear in those reports, make sure that you're collecting data consistently as well, which takes us to the next principle about storage. So we need to store all the information that we keep from our customers really reliably and safely, and that means that we are ensuring that we are complying with privacy standards and confidentiality standards, and it also means that we can actually look at our data moving over time, so you can see the way that things change, and then you might be able to make it change into the future. Can you think of any examples where you've done that in the workplace already? Being able to use current data that's been stored well to make a change?
Just when we've overspent on a budget, for example, and then knowing that for next month we'll need to cut down.
Yeah. And in customer service situations?
Sometimes we store people's names that call up, and then if they call up again, we know we've already spoken to them or what we've told them. Really
good idea. So good storage. If you're reliably keeping those names, then you'll be able to know when they're called again. You'll be able to have a good record. So the fourth principle, if you turn over the page, is consistency and comparability. So it's comparing apples with apples or oranges with oranges.
What?
So comparing things that are the same. So you don't want to compare two totally different things. If I was going to compare how something went in a cricket match, it might be quite different to how things happened in tennis. So the principles could be difficult to kind of draw any clear conclusion.
No, I understand. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So when you're recording customer service data, you just want to consistently record it. So recording people's names spelled correctly means that you'll be able to find them again. And you can do that same comparison of results. And then the final thing is continuity. So understanding what our customers want and need is about being up to date with what's happening and up to date with what products are available, so that we can match things up appropriately. So you want to collect data often, and you want to be able to use it effectively. So we've got continuous collection of data. So is there any examples you can think of in your organisation where you already have mechanisms to collect data on a regular basis?
When we receive phone calls, we have to put them in. We've got this a computer program where we've got to type the names into it after every call.
Great. So that makes sure that you record all of the information about your customers. Okay, so they're the 4 principles. So can you tell me now what the 4 principles are? Or perhaps maybe, do you want to tell me what?
Continuity.
Yeah.
That was the last one. But it's all part of a circle.
Consistency and storage.
Yeah. Great. And what is the cycle? Why do we describe it as a cycle of continuous improvement?
It never ends.
Very good. Okay, so on the back here, there's a learning activity which helps you to you can refer back to the principles that we've just gone through, and you can complete this learning activity. And there's also a pre-assessment activity. So you don't need to complete those right now, but you can take them back to the workplace. You can complete them then, and then once you've completed those, we'll arrange a time for assessment for this aspect of the unit. Does that sound good?
Sure. Sounds good.
Great. Do you have any other questions before we finish up today?
No, that was it.
Did that all make sense?
Definitely. I
Great.
really like the diagram, the pictures.
The diagram was helpful?
Yep.
Not
Fantastic.
so much this one, but this one was really good.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, well, I'll be in touch in relation to assessment.